What do we got going on here? Draw is Seer, or Poet, or Caravan, or some combination thereof. We've got Mining Village is the only village. Yes. The Omen is Kind Emperor, which is activated by Poet. Wouldn't mind putting a Seer in hand at the start of turn. Trashing, we have Enlarge. I believe that is it. Plus buy Market Square. Okay, seems like a fairly straightforward Seer kingdom. You just want a bunch of Seers and a bunch of things costing 3 and 4. Definitely want probably at least a pair of Enlarges. I want to kill the estates, but I also want to turn the coppers into supplies, both because supplies is better, but also because supplies cost between 2 and 4 and copper does not. I could see a Fortune Hunter being decent. It would require you to have a village or two, but for example helps you if you play a Seer, reveal a bunch of coppers. You could play a Fortune Hunter, play one of the coppers off the top, and then play on. You could use Fortune Hunter to play supplies early, and then top deck a horse for the same turn maybe. I don't know. Fortune Hunter is not that important, but it would be okay in this deck. Market Square I think is mainly for the plus buy. There's plenty of cheap things you want, but you could also gain golds off of it and then remodel those into provinces late in the game. How to open? Definitely Enlarge. We got the Baker token, so the $4 hand's got to be Enlarge. $3 hand I think is probably supplies. If Yuri is lucky enough to have the 2/5, well then you just do supplies, Enlarge, and a heartbeat, and you get the upside of keeping your coffer for a future turn. I hope that he has just not played all of his coppers yet. He's pretending to have the 2/5. How devious. I could see a case for silver as well. Supplies does have some anti-synergy with Enlarge, because it puts horses into your starting hand, which makes it harder to line up good targets for Enlarge. I am entirely confident Yuri has another copper in that hand that he is concealing for no good reason. If you had 2 coppers here, you wouldn't even think. You would just click supplies. Yeah, you're not fooling me. Okay, Yuri takes a Market Square. I mean, you're probably going to activate it if you really want to activate it. But I don't think you're desperate to get gold this early. I mean, it's going to be a fine card in the deck. You don't need a silver either. I think I'm just leaning towards silver, actually, for purposes of hitting 5 more often. Final answer. This is a very happy starting hand, I think. Obviously, you much prefer to see Enlarge turn 3 rather than turn 4, because you get to trash twice and put the Enlarge back in the shuffle, whereas Yuri will get to trash once, and the Enlarge will miss the shuffle. It also, seeing as I'm seeing 2 estates here, means I'm very likely to hit 5 next turn. Not guaranteed. I could bottom deck the silver and top deck the estate, but quite likely. Anyways, what do I want off of this gain? First instinct is Poet. That's probably right? I don't care too much about the Omen activation. If it happens, it happens. But it is draw. It is draw that works twice as often as Caravan does. Poet, final answer. Alas, the estate is bottom deck, so I can't trash that. But I also want to kill the coppers, so no complaints here. Do I take a second Enlarge now? I want 2 Enlarges, but I'll be a little bit sad if they collide. Seer is safer. I think I'm leaning towards the second Enlarge. It just gives me a higher chance of drawing one off the top, and I'd really like to play Enlarge turn 5 for the same reason that I wanted to play Enlarge turn 3. Yuri is probably going to be in a better position to take the Defiled Shrine as a result of having that Market Square. With an extra buy, yeah. My poor Enlarges are going to get into a little fisticuffs down there in the bottom of the deck. Let's just take a Seer now. Anyways, with Defiled Shrine, there's 2 big costs to taking it. One is adding the curse to your deck, but the other is foregoing buying a useful thing to buy the curse. And if you have surplus buys, you're not really eating the second half of that cost. Like, you buy the thing you really want, and with 0 money left to buy the curse, and then it feels a lot less bad. Like, I wouldn't be super surprised here to see Yuri take it. Whereas, if it was like 7 or 8 or whatever, and you had 1 buy, I think it would still be pretty hard to justify taking Defiled Shrine points over a Seer or an Enlarge. Like, the points have to be much, much higher to justify that. Whereas with an extra buy, it's just a question of an extra curse or not. Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, I had 1 shuffle with the Enlarges on top, and apparently it is only going to be the 1. I need plus buy soon. I'm apparently going to need a village if the Enlarges keep behaving like this. Alright, I was kind of hoping Yuri played a Poet there so that I could activate Kind Emperor on my turn, but no. Shoop. I don't think I even want to trigger this shuffle. I risk drawing the Enlarge. I don't know how I benefit from it. Conceivably, maybe I could draw 2 supplies off the top and then net myself an extra horse. I think I'm just going to stop here. I'll take plus buy and another Seer. Well, again, some of this is self-imposed from the supply. The 2 horses were destined to be on top. But I still have plenty of junk in my deck, don't I? It was not a big deal. I'll just kill one of the horses. In fact, I'm probably going to take a gold off of it too, because I get to put a Seer in hand. Oh my. Yuri's already drawing a bunch. He has 4 Poets? When did that happen? All off of 1? What is going on over there? I am frankly shocked at how put together his deck apparently is. So he has only 1 Enlarge. He didn't find his Enlarge turn 3. So he's got fewer gains. And he went out of his way to add a curse to the deck. And then somehow his deck appears to be more functional. What has happened? I don't know. To me, this turn just seems kind of out of the blue. I didn't think his deck was nearly that high quality. At least not yet. I think just 1 more Seer for me. Oh. I gotta get back around to that market square or I'll be a little bit sad. There we go. Very happy to leave the Seer on top. That part's not a problem. And probably this is gold into province. This game is going to end faster than I anticipated it. Kind Emperor is already active, so these decks are going to be functional. Let's see. I still have 1 more estate worth trashing, and I probably want more plus buy than I currently have. If I trash the estate, I'm taking 5 horses at this point, so a horse will definitely die. But that's fine. I would have 5, 10, 14 money. That's more than I realistically need. If I trash the gold, I still have 11. Yeah, I think take a province. I don't really need the golds in my deck all that badly with Seers around. And I'll do a second province and a market square. And I think here, perhaps I want a mining village. The upside of mining, I only have 2 total terminals on my deck, one of which I'm playing each turn with the 2 Enlarges. But the biggest upside of mining village is that it would let me draw my deck, play the Enlarge, trigger the market squares, then go draw the golds and the market squares back again, which definitely increases at least the theoretical output of my deck a lot. Requires an amount of deck control that I'm not totally sure that I have, but I do get a free Seer here. So I think I'm going to gain a Seer to hand, trash a horse into a mining village, and we'll see if we can draw all that. I want to believe that last turn from Yuri was a fluke. Doesn't he still have tons of coppers? Seer and copper are not friends. I mean, I still have 4 coppers. Has he killed his curse yet? Okay, he's trashed the curse. How many Seers does Yuri have? Do you have another one of those? I know I have a bunch, but do I have 5? Okay, yeah, I have 5 Seers. Yuri only has the 2 of them. I know he's got a bunch of poets. 1 more, I believe. But I'm thinking he's not getting quite to the end of his deck here, which is good. I think if you're Yuri, you're not super keen to... He doesn't want to play the enlarge. He wants to learn something else. Just to trash the mining village. For what? Province Seer or something? I was thinking if you're Yuri, 4 provinces seems like a safer number to leave the province pile on than 3. I don't know if I can do 3, but I feel like I could reasonably do 3 provinces with a good draw. No, Yuri wants to leave it on 3. Okay, 3 provinces and a duchy. How much of a difference does that make? 18 points plus 13 points would only be 31 points. So I would need a little bit more than 3 provinces here. 3 provinces and a duchy to win. We'll see if I can do that. Goodbye, horse. Could have been better, could have been worse. These Seers, I'd like it if they drew slightly more cards than they currently are. Haven't quite got the lineups that I would ideally like. I'm going to go ahead and pop this. I don't think I'm triggering the market squares yet. I'll trigger them off of the enlarge. It mattered a lot what order those last 2 cards were in. If the Seer happened to be on the bottom, then I couldn't afford to discard both market squares. Otherwise, I wouldn't have drawn my Seer. Actually, shoot, maybe that was the wrong order. Maybe I should have popped them. Anyway. The real answer is just my deck wasn't lined up quite as well as it could have been. Those Seers could have drawn more than they did, and I could have gotten it into my deck sooner. I would have really liked it if I could have gained gold. Maybe I should have discarded 1 yet. The trouble with the line I've taken is I don't have any golds yet, which means it's hard to enlarge things into province here. So can I win? Currently looking at 6, 8, 13 money. And I can't afford to mill provinces. That doesn't help me because I need all the points. This doesn't feel like a win. I will have plus buy, so I can take an annex for free, right? So let me consider what happens if I enlarge silver into another enlarge, activate both market squares. I play the Seer. My discard pile has 2 market squares, 2 golds, and an enlarge. That's 5 cards. It's reasonably likely that I would draw all of that, but far from guaranteed. I I would have to not have a market square on the top or the bottom. Is that right? Yeah, if I want to draw both golds and the enlarge, both market squares would have to be in the middle 3 out of 5 of the cards in my discard. If I manage to draw both golds, then I would have a hand with 6, 11, 14 money plus a gold, which would not be quite enough. If I enlarge the gold in the province, I'd be 2 money shy of doing double province plus annex. So I don't think that line possibly works. If I were to enlarge a market square, that doesn't work because I wouldn't have enough buys or enough golds. So I'm thinking the answer is I can't win this turn. I expect that with a better draw I could have won this turn, and it would have involved gaining golds earlier off of the mining village play, but I would have needed a little bit more overdraw. I don't think I'm entirely down and out. Yuri's deck is a bit weaker, and he's an 8 debt. But he's got enlarges, and he's got the ability to gain additional stuff off of Kind Emperor. There's a good chance he remodels a goal or something this turn and gains another province, and then it's going to be a little bit harder. But I think the answer here is going to have to be that I play for one more turn. Unless there's a win that I'm just missing here. Don't think there is. So I think I just turn a copper into... Oh wait, never mind. The supplies are empty. That might have been the wrong play then. I mean, I still don't hate turning copper into a state. It's a card that Seer can draw. But I suppose I should contemplate at least some other line that maybe makes more sense. A state in a mining village or something. Okay. I can probably afford to buy a province here. Yuri has 4 horses on top, so the odds that he's got a province in his starting hand are very low. So I don't think it's easy for him to mill 2 provinces with enlarge. Yeah, I think I'm buying a province on the argument of if Yuri can do 2 provinces, I'm probably losing anyway. Let me just double check that that is the case. Let's say he mills a province and buys a province. He goes up to 41 points. Yeah, I don't think there'd be enough points left in the duchy pile to fix that. So I'm going to buy 1 province and say if he can do 2, I'm losing anyway. And then probably just 2 duchies here. And hope I get another turn. Maybe he top decked it with Annex. Was that feasible? I know he did some Annex thingies. I don't think Annex could guarantee he has the province on top, but it could increase the odds of it. Okay, so we found a market square on the top. Please don't draw so much. Please, Dud, stop it. Okay, that's not a lot. This is promising. It was very promising. Okay, curse. And another duchy. Yeah. Okay. Is that enough to put it out of range for me? That still might be too much for me to do. 2 provinces gets me to 36. A duchy gets me to 39. And the tricky part is going to be getting enough estates, it seems like, right? My deck does not have that many gains in it. I have to be able to do 2 provinces, 1 duchy, and 3 estates to tie at a minimum. Am I counting that right? 15 plus 24, 39, yeah. At the moment, my deck has... What did I just add? Only points. I only added points. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gains, and I need 6 gains, right? So this enlarge absolutely has to gain me points, or gain me a card that gains me points, and the Kind Emperor does as well. So I'll just take a market square, and I'll trash the horse. I don't think I want the gold right now, maybe later. And the horse probably gains me another market square. And I think with a good draw, the salvage is a tie, but that's not guaranteed. I could gain an estate directly, but I think it is safer for my deck if I take the market square of my starting hand, or in my deck, because I think money is less of an object than draw is. God dang it, Seer. Please cooperate. I'm just going to go ahead and play this and pop it and not take that. I'm a little concerned. Don't I have another market square? Did I bottom deck it? Say it ain't so. I'm pretty sure I have another Seer in this deck as well, right? What are those bottom 4 cards? Seer, Market Square, Supplies, and a Duchy? I think that's right. So I think this is a loss now, isn't it? I need to gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. I'm looking at 5 gains. Nothing I can do to play one here. Yeah, I think this will be a loss. If I don't win this turn, Yuri takes a Seer, gains a Duchy with near 100% certainty. That's a bummer. Yeah, if I find that market square, I have the money to do estate, province, annex for the tie. But I have not quite gotten there. So here I suppose I just take 2 estates and pray that Yuri somehow doesn't find an enlarge or enough money to get out of debt. The odds of that are very slim. Yeah, that's game.